Hello and welcome to today's episode of This Could Start an Argument with me, Matty Hill.
And me, Sophie May.
You are joining us on New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve, everyone.
Sat in front of our very sad looking Christmas tree. If you've not got this on YouTube or you haven't seen any of the videos that we've put of this podcast, our Christmas tree looks very, very sad. It is drooping more than something that droops.
We didn't realise that you meant to saw the bottom off of a real tree because it's the first time we've had a real tree.
Who has a saw?
Especially when you live in a flat like us. So it has been drooping and sad quite a while, but I'm really impressed that the lights and the decorations are still on. But we are getting it picked up. We're getting it picked up with the charity, aren't we? So that you donate and they come and pick it up, but they can't come and pick it up until the 9th.
Which is
so
really,
it's gonna
I think I've got to put it out on the 9th, and I think it gets picked up on like the 10th or the 11th,
yeah.
Which is technically after 12th night, and we have this.
Yeah, when are you meant to have your Christmas tree down?
By the end of the 12th night, which I think is Monday, this coming Monday, so like the 5th of January. But It's strange because there's all these different, what are they called, like superstitions, where people say if you've not got your Christmas tree down by the end of the 12th night, then you've got to keep it up till April.
Yeah.
Well, no one's told these people collecting for charity, have they?
Well, we'll have to take it down, but we're going to have to put a note because obviously we're in a flat, so if we just dump it outside by the bins and it's not getting picked up until the 9th, we're going to look like really bad neighbours. So we'll have to write a note on that it is getting picked up and when. But we can't, it'll be so, I reckon it'll smell as well if we keep it until the 9th here. It is beginning to die.
Is it? Well, yeah, there's needles and stuff on the floor, isn't there?
Oh, that's normal. But it's
I've
it's
never
very
had
sad.
a real tree.
Anyway, enough about
I've never had a real tree.
I have,
what was it
but
we found out on Christmas Day? I'd never eaten a prawn either. We found that out on Christmas Day.
I'm pretty glad about that until you actually ate the prawns and liked them.
Oh yeah, so I forgot I'm talking to a vegan.
I mean, for every prawn you eat, you're eating something.
Yeah, okay, we know. We don't need to go.
Okay, I won't
just
get
thought it was
onto
quite. Everyone seemed to find it quite amusing that I had never had a prawn in my life, and then I had it 2 consecutive days because we had it on Boxing Day as well, didn't we?
Especially because you went to an all-boys private school, one of the best in the country, you always like to say.
Top 5%.
So
I don't know what that 5% is doing because I don't know how I did that. Anyway, that's another day. That's for another day. New Year's Eve. We thought it would be good to chat about how this year's gone. You know, like wins and losses and stuff like that, and then look forward into kind of not necessarily goal setting for 2026, but exciting plans and thinking what we would like 2026 to look like. But
I also think that it's really important to share the losses as well, because when you on social media and most things, they only share the highlight reels, which is amazing. Like, I love seeing people win, and if anything, when you see people achieving things, it depends obviously what it is and who it is, but when you see somebody that's doing what you want to do, I always like to look at it, well, that's proof that that's an opportunity. If they can do it, why can't I? And looking at it that way rather than from a place of lack and a place of they've got it and I've not. However, people do just share their highlight reels, the good, and they forget to mention all the rubbish that's day to day, because a lot of the time as well, when something bad's happening, you're not in a space to share it. Like, we're going to share things now because we've either healed from them, or we've had some time from them, or we've just kind of accepted them.
I think as well, also, it's things that you can look at that haven't worked. They're things that you know that's what you want to focus on next year.
Yeah.
That's what you want to fix or, improve.
Yeah, it gives you something to work towards.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the journey is really important. We often always want the end destination, and when we get it, it's like, right, the next thing.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I'm wanting to learn and enjoy more of is the journey. And also, and part of that is reflecting on how far we've come. And this is something that I also want you to do, listening as well. Like, any bad things that have happened this year, they may be bad, but you also will have learnt something from them. You also will have gained something from them. And so it helps me to move on or to kind of just accept them more when I focus on that as well.
Yeah, it's seeing them written down and then being able to reframe it, isn't it, as well? You know, you've just said that, but I'm just reiterating it.
Where's my cup of tea?
Uh,
He's drinking a cup of tea and I've just thought, oh, I haven't got one.
It's not actually tea, but anyway.
It's a hot milk.
No, it's not. It's actually Coke, but it's just a little bit of Pepsi Max, actually. But
Oh my gosh, he's got Pepsi Max in a mug.
In a mug, yeah. Well, we could get onto the fact that there's dishes that aren't clean, but we'll leave that for another day. So, go on then. You start, because you were just talking about...
Okay, let's do losses first, because everybody wants to hear the losses first, don't they? The bad times. So let's go...
Everyone wants to hear the bad times, do you think?
Well, as in, it makes you
feel better.
Makes you feel better that it's not just you.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And also it's real, you can relate. I don't mean that people want to see me fail, although some of you might. But I mean that it's more relatable, it's honest.
Yeah.
And it shows that, you know, life is full of ups and downs. You know, we used to struggle with this as coaches a little bit, thinking that we have to have our life together in order
to have your shit together, don't you?
in order to coach other people. But it's so the opposite. The more life experiences you've had, the more you can relate and the more that you understand and can be compassionate, but also ask the right questions. So I actually feel that it makes us better coaches because of everything that we've been through, but also because we share it as well.
Yeah.
And something before we actually get on to our wins, our highs and lows from this year, is I was speaking to my grandma at Christmas that we'd started a podcast, and she was like, oh yeah, I saw a little clip on Instagram. And I was like, what did you think? She was like, you share a lot of your personal life. And she'd only seen that little clip. And I was like, well, yeah, it's a podcast. And she was like, well, are you sure you want to do that? And she was like, you know, you don't have to share everything. And it was really interesting because we're both very honest people. If someone asks us how we're feeling or, you know, ask us about something, we're quite honest and open. I think that's just a quality that we have, but also that's what I value in other people as well. And I also think that you're going to get judged regardless of what you share, especially if you get bigger. For example, our dream obviously with this podcast, eventually, we know it'd take time, is to obviously get bigger with this. And the fear of that is that then you invite in more opinions, and especially when you're sharing and we're sharing about our life, it's going to hit a little bit harder, isn't it?
You're going to get comments, you're going to get people saying things. I think that's... I've had a little bit of that with some of the YouTube videos I've done, you're talking about the fact that I'm not talking I get loads of views or anything like that, but I still have people comment weird stuff sometimes as well, and even on TikTok, comments on videos like that can sometimes be, you look at it and think, oh, that's not a nice thing to say, because I don't think I would never comment negatively on someone's video.
But that shows more about them and the headspace that they're in.
But one thing I was going to say on top of that is sometimes, you know, if you read them, and it's like someone putting a big boulder by your door, right? Just don't pick it up, you know? Don't look at it. I try not to look at the negative comments. I try not to look at... Not that I'm fortunately don't get that many, but I had a conversation with a friend of mine on my own podcast a few weeks ago, and she was saying how, because she got quite a big following, and she used to get loads of troll comments and people commenting about how she looked and her weight and all that kind of stuff, and in the end it's just like, just ignore it, don't look at it.
That can be easier said than done, right? Especially when you want to read all the good comments as well. But my reasoning was how deep we go. Yes, it's getting more personal, but we want to be relatable, we want to be honest, and in a world where so much is fake, especially with AI and everything, I think more than ever people are craving honesty, truth, realness,
And
they can, and connection.
Yeah.
They can really relate to that. And so, as I was explaining to my grandma, she still didn't understand it, which I think is a generational thing, as well as, you know, some people don't want to share their whole life. But for me, I just think we need it, and that's what I look for with people that I follow. I look for that vulnerability, and I think that actually vulnerability used to be like, a lot of people used to see that as a weakness. You're sharing your vulnerability. If you cry, you are weak. Whereas actually that is beginning to turn, and vulnerability is strength. Being vulnerable is pretty damn hard, and it shows how strong, courageous and brave you are. And it's something that I always, when I do my sharing circles, whether online or in person, when somebody's new, they find it really hard. And I've had some people burst into tears before they share because of how nervous they are. But once they break through that and they put this pressure off themselves and they stop trying to think what everyone else is judging them about, because let's be honest, you're never going to know unless you ask someone and they tell you. So why think that people are thinking bad of you when they could be thinking good, or they might just not be thinking about you at all? So it's reframing that. And even if people are thinking bad about you, they're thinking about you usually because they're jealous of you or because they want what you have. So actually, the more that you share and be vulnerable, yes, you do welcome more hate, but you also welcome more love. You welcome those connections, and people, you're going to find your people. And I feel that that's also why we have such a deep connection, and so early on, because as we've said in the last podcast episode, we were friends, weren't we?
Yeah.
In the beginning. You'll have to listen to the last episode to hear all about that. But
we built our relationship off of friendship, didn't we? And
but we were so honest and vulnerable, and shared all about our mental health, and and that's what most relationships and good friendships are based off. Yeah,
definitely. So go on then, crack on with your first one.
Okay, so we're doing the lows. Right? So lows of 2025. So I'm going to start with, there's quite a few to choose from. I'm going to start with, my, you're going to laugh, with my fear of blood.
Oh, yeah. So...
Oh, God.
This is huge, isn't it? I didn't realise you were as bad...
Neither did I.
...as you are. In fact, I actually think you have gotten worse.
I do.
...over the past 12 months. Because we'd done... I remember you were doing some hormone test, were you? Was it like fertility or something like that a few years ago?
Yeah,
on my birthday?
It was 2 years ago.
We were in the Lake District. We were in a spa that we'd gone to for my birthday. And I remember sitting in bed in my dressing gown watching you get the little finger prick test, and just firstly like putting it in and like jabbing your finger, so drawing blood, and then trying to get the tiniest amount of blood into the little capsule that it gives you.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, it is literally just a finger prick test that you do yourself, and then you send it off, and you need a cap full of blood. Yeah. But the caps are so small.
They're so small.
Your finger's twice the size of this little thing that you've got to get it in. And the blood because I had longer nails. I don't have long nails, but I have... not sure, but the blood kept running into my nails.
That was the most recent
and getting
one.
Stuck. No, it happened then as well.
Did it? Right.
I did in the end finally manage to do that, but
you also knocked it over, didn't you? So you'd filled a little bit, and then you knocked it over, and then the blood was like dropping on the floor and on the table.
Oh, it was so hard.
I just remember thinking, like, we have got to tidy this up, because if we leave this room like looking like this, the cleaner's going to walk in and think, what the hell has gone on in here?
It wasn't that bad. It was just so frustrating, and it took me like an hour, which I thought it'd be really easy to get this kind of blood test. And I'd had another blood test, I remember, but they did it with the cat. Remember when we had our food intolerance test?
Yes,
and she
that's
did
right,
it.
yeah.
And I've always felt like a little bit queasy, but not too bad. I'm just like, look away. And
But yeah, you had no adverse reactions to that, did you?
No, I don't mind injections. Well, I do, but I'm much better with injections going in. It's when you're pulling or drawing blood out of me, it makes me feel sick. So when I have blood tests, I have to lie down when you get drawn from your arm. I have to lie down and look away and tell them, and I do like feel faint or sick. But then this one is, again, so for fertility, it's like testing female hormones. So I've had some done on the NHS, but again, it was really weird actually. So my sister had PCOS, and apparently it can run in the family, and I've got a few symptoms. And this was 2 years ago that I had the test, and then it came back with some of my hormones and testosterone high. Yeah. But I remember that like the month before I'd gone to the doctors and had my testosterone checked, and they said it was fine. But because fertility checked on the 3rd day of your period, that it's just more specific. And although the NHS is brilliant in some ways, in a lot of ways I've had to go private and spend a lot of money, which is another thing that I'll come to on my gut and getting diagnosed with SIBO. But back to the blood. So I thought I'd be fine with this test, and we were at my mum's, weren't we, in Devon, and I was like, I'll just do it the morning before we go. And then I'm getting Matty to help me, and then I don't even know what happened.
Oh, I do. So you were struggling so much to initially draw blood get enough blood coming from the finger.
Yeah.
So you changed the...
I had to keep pricking different fingers, but you only had like 4 to choose.
Eventually we finally got one where you started to draw a bit of blood, but then it was painfully... Like it was painful watching you try, and I felt sorry for you for how much, because I knew how much you were struggling with it, but also it was a painful watch because the blood was just
catching in the nail or stopping.
It was going out so slowly, but then anytime you did get a thick drop, just ended up going in your nail.
It was so...
And I was just
I would laugh about it now, but I was literally nearly crying.
How do we get you into a position with your hand over this little
But the worst thing was, as Matty was trying to help me, so you like massage your hand, it was that made it so much worse, and I was physically sick a lot.
Yeah.
So then I'd finished being physically sick, which has never happened before. Normally I just feel queasy. Got my mum to help me come in because I thought she'd help, and that just made it so much worse.
She started squeezing your finger, and then you were like, I'm going to be sick, and you're like, no, you're not, sick. You're fine. And lo and behold, she was sick.
And I didn't make it to the bathroom because my mum still had hold of my finger. So my fear has got worse. So that fertility, so we got half the blood, we sent it off, and then they said that it had burst, like the blood cells had burst, which we thought it had failed because we didn't have enough in because we only managed half.
I don't even think you got to the halfway point, really, did you? But
so now I've got the test again in January, but this time I'm having blood drawn from is it from your elbow, your arm? Not your elbow, your inner, whatever that's called. And I've got a nurse coming to my home, so I'm still bad with that, but I'm just look away.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the low points, and I actually am now terrified for her coming because I've never physically been sick before, so new fear unlocked, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to get you to NLP me because I can't NLP myself.
Yeah.
NLP.
We've got to do something.
NLP can help with phobias, by the way, and I don't know why I've not tried it yet. So I'm gonna get you to do that because it's just got way worse.
And that was on that fateful day where the car broke down on the motorway coming home as well, wasn't it? So it was really truly a fantastic day.
Yeah, it was one
very
of those
traumatic
days.
day. But yeah.
And then the second thing that it drew me to is, so I got diagnosed with SIBO, which is an actual huge win. So I have had bloating issues for 10 years, maybe longer now, because I always say 10 years every year, so I think it's way longer. And SIBO is where your bacteria is overgrowing in where it shouldn't, so it's in my small intestine. So over the years, I've had 2 SIBO tests done on the NHS, but it turns out that their tests, which I didn't know until I went private, oh, my voice, didn't know, only test the first 2 meters of your small intestine. And even though it's called your small intestine, it's not small, it's massive. And it turns out that when I paid for a private test and I was with a nutritionist, and she was studying functional medicine as well, that when we did that test, it came up that I had SIBO, but the reason why is we did a different test, so a different substrate.
Test further along, didn't you?
Yeah, and it tests further along, so that's how it picked it up. The hardest part was getting rid of it. I had to do FODMAP diet, I had to go on antibiotics, and I actually thought I hadn't got rid of it, but I managed to get antibiotics from the hospital because my nutritionist wrote it in, because it's really expensive if you can't get them from the hospital. So that was amazing, and I did 2 rounds, but they wouldn't give me a 3rd round until I tested again. And I was like, well, it's not gone because I'm still bloated, like I've got all the same symptoms. So I've tested again and the SIBO's gone, but my symptoms are still there. So on one hand, I'm like amazed and so proud that I've managed to get rid of SIBO this quick after having it for over 10 years, and so was my nutritionist. But now I've still got the same symptoms, so it's something else, which I think, again, it's hormonal, which is why I'm doing a different, the brand's Hertility, but it's testing specifically for endometriosis and PCOS, because that can cause bloating and I get painful periods and all things like that. So I'd actually say it's a win and a loss in one, because it's a win. I got diagnosed, which I'm so pleased with. I got rid of it, which I'm so pleased with. But the negative side, I've still got all the same symptoms. I still have loads of weight. I've added so much weight ever since I had SIBO. And yeah, it's just really uncomfortable, and I can't wear anything tight around my belly. It's why you'll never see me in jeans.
I think if anyone's ever suffered with some kind of bloating for, this time of year is perfect for it. How many people will have that post-Christmas bloating feeling, which it's so uncomfortable, but to be living with that 24/7.
Yeah, I've never not been bloated. Like I don't know what it's like to not have bloat.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And sometimes it's worse than others. And then sometimes I just get on with it, but I can always feel it. And it is horrible. Like, you don't feel yourself. You don't feel sexy. Like,
you don't want to, it doesn't make you want to do anything either, does it? It doesn't make you.
I used to have a 6-pack before, nearly a 6-pack, I'm not kidding. Before I got SIBO, I was at my fittest and nearly had a 6-pack, and then it just went bloated. I know why it happened, because I went to Camp America. It was all the food. I had to go on antibiotics, so I think antibiotics, funnily enough, even though I had them for my gut, some antibiotics can make your gut worse, and that's what can cause it. And then I was also very depressed at the time as well, and obviously all away from family. Even though I loved Camp America, I did really struggle as well. Yeah. So that's, a couple of my losses and a couple of my wins as well. Let's go on to you.
So I actually did a post on this on Instagram the other day. I think the one I'll start with is not looking after myself enough. So I've had little niggling injuries and illnesses this year, basically through burnout, I think. So one thing that I like to do is, or I've started doing recently, I should say, is I kind of audit my life. It's something that a coach I'm working with introduced to me. And before I'll set any goals or anything like that, I'll audit my life and reflect on the past 12 months. And something that I reflected on was how poor my recovery and my experience was. And I've kind of noticed this throughout the year when I have conversations with clients or something, and they'll say, "Oh, what did you get up to the weekend?" And I'm like, "Oh, what did I do at the weekend?" And more often than not, the answer has been work. And I've had this constant feeling and need to be working. I think the holiday that we had this year in Spain was the first time I didn't do any work, because even when we went to Italy, I did a bit of work in the airport and did a little
Did you
bit.
not do any work in Spain?
I didn't do any work in Spain, and that's the first time we've been away where I didn't do any work at all. And it felt weird, but it also felt really good. But I've noticed that, yeah, I just have this constant need to be doing something, to be either working, and if I'm not working, then I have this feeling that I need to be training in some capacity. I very rarely will I switch off completely. So that's something that I want to focus on in 2026, but I've also recognised that this year has caused me issues. There was that time when I was in bed for like 2 days, wasn't I, over the weekend, because
you
I
might have
pushed...
actually had a stomach bug or something.
No, that
as
was the
well.
most recent one, but the time before that, where we'd got, so I stupidly did this challenge at the gym, and my and I let my ego take over. The competitive side of me came out, and I saw this walking lunges challenge on the gym, and I wanted to win, and I wanted to beat the high score. So I made sure that I beat the high score.
Yeah, you did win,
it was,
but to your detriment.
Yeah, I mean, I won, and and then some. But yeah, it was to my detriment, because I was bedbound for 24 hours after it. I couldn't eat. I didn't want to get out of bed, and
you do put a lot of pressure on yourself to always be doing and working harder in whatever it is that you do. But I feel that, you know, I've helped you to improve that a little bit as well.
There we go. Saint Sophie saves the day again.
Woohoo! No, and you've also helped me to focus, because I have the opposite. I want to rest.
Too much sometimes.
You do, yeah. You're a great motivator for me, and then I'm good.
Yin and
at
yang,
getting
isn't
you
it?
To slow down.
But yeah, no, I definitely have recognised this year. So I think a downside, so kind of, yeah, a loss, if you like, is the fact that I've not looked after myself, and that has had a detrimental effect, on how I felt about myself, and also my health and fitness. I'm not in as good a physical condition as I would want to be in, and I don't eat as well as I would want to, and know that I should. I try not to use the word should, but in this case
I get to.
Yeah,
I choose to.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I also, from a health perspective, know that I need to
you work
improve
out
my
loads.
diet.
Like, your fitness is amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it. But it's, yours is the nutrition.
Yeah, I mean, let's just park the fact that I've probably about had half a kilo of chocolate this week.
It is Christmas, but we're talking generally, not over
generally,
Christmas.
yeah.
Everyone can just eat what they want over Christmas.
Generally, so that's probably the main one. That.
And what's a win?
A win. I think. Well, I try and relate it to that. I think one of the wins is the fact that I have recognised that, and it's something that I'm actively wanting and going to change. But I think a big win from this year was, one, what I said just before about actually having a week off and knowing that it didn't have a detrimental impact on anything to do with my life. In fact, it probably helped. And another win would be that I've, as a result of that, gotten clearer on what I actually want. And so that is a win for me, because I've gone through this almost identity change of wanting to be more than just a PT, because as much as I love that side of the job, I'm really passionate about helping people make huge mindset changes, not just the physical, but the mental health and the mindset side of things, and that's what I really want to prioritize and push more in 2026. So a win would be focusing, a win would be noticing that, or knowing that actually that's my next phase. My career, my business is more coaching orientated as opposed to just being in the gym.
Yeah,
I want to be more than just a PT.
Something though, I think we both can would like to work on. And I'm really proud of you that I remember now that you didn't work at all during that week, and normally you would do like a little bit every day on holiday, to the point where I've shouted at him and been like, come and relax. Like, I'll usually do a little bit on holiday, but you do something usually every day. So I actually do remember that, and I was super proud of you for that. But it's also remembering that we are not our jobs. Although we are very lucky to be doing what it is that we love, if we keep that our jobs are us and we are our jobs, if you lose that or it's taken away, I like to use the like analogy of a footballer. You know, footballers, they're on TV, aren't they? They have these high wages, they're celebrities, and then they have to retire, don't they? They're forced to kind of retire, and they're not a footballer anymore. So I imagine that that's quite hard for them to then lose that, and that's just one of the obvious analogies that I could use. But if they actually look at, well, yes, I was a footballer and I did all these great things, but I am not just that. That is not my identity. I'm all these other things as well. That transition's going to be easier, because a lot of people do tie their worth to their jobs, not just self-employment, but in their employment jobs. And if they're made redundant or fired, or then they don't like it anymore, they go through like a crisis, because they're like, who am I? And it's really important to have that time off, which is why we actually went. I know we sound like big kids, but I really wanted to go to Alton Towers. I love roller coasters and rides.
That was a win as well.
That was a huge win. I have been wanting Matty to go for ages, and he was like, we'll go, but I'm working, because we wanted to go in the week when it's quieter, without kids there. So it was trying to get Matty to not be working on a weekday. So it was really hard to get booked in. But when we went, oh my God, I've never seen you laugh and smile so much.
It was good.
You loved it. And at the end, you were like, when can we book again? So that was a win, because I've been trying to get you to realise that there is more. Although, especially with self-employment as well, and we're building our businesses and we're growing it, and because we love it and we're passionate about it, yes, we want to put energy into it, but it's also important to have a life outside of that and know who you are outside of that. Like your personal training, for example, although you still love it and you're still going to do an element of it, if that then changes, you would have a crisis of, well, I'm not a PT anymore, who am I? Whereas if you've been doing all the work on the outside and having fun, like, life is we're meant to work to live, not live to work. Yeah. And that is part of why we do what we do, because we don't always feel like it's work, but I still think it's important to get rest, have hobbies, which you've also started this year. That brings you on to another win, doesn't it? Did you start jiu-jitsu this year, or was it last year?
No, well, I technically started it. I've been doing it a year now. I technically started it just before Christmas last year. Maybe it was like end of November, beginning of December. But yeah, so I competed for the first time in April and lost. But even though I lost, it was a good experience, because first time competing, it was never really about the win or the loss. It wasn't about that. It was more just putting myself in a position to do it. It's really difficult to explain, I think, unless you've ever experienced anything like it. But you're as respectful as it is, you are literally fighting someone with the aim of getting them to, if you're not going to win by points, you're going to get them to submit. And you go face to face with someone who, and this guy was a lot bigger than me, and I wasn't there, by the way. I had something on. Yeah, you were. Yeah, you didn't come support me.
You didn't want me to be there, though.
No, I didn't. To be fair, but it's such a bizarre thing, because I remember I was scheduled to fight. I think it was going to be around 11:30, and I was called at least half an hour earlier, if not more. So I wasn't mentally ready. I thought, I've still got another half an hour. I can watch a bit more. I can warm up properly. But my name was called straight into the pen, and then after that, it's like everything's
in a pen?
Yeah, you put into like a little pen. so you wait to be called to the mat. So they'll call out the names of however many people. Let's say there's 20 or 30 people can fit in the pen. So they call your name into the pen, and you go and wait, and then they will call your name out and bring you and point you to the mat that you're about to go on. So my name got called almost immediately, and then before you know it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm facing this guy. And then in jiu-jitsu and other martial arts as well, as obviously a belt grading system. So you're only going to ever go against someone who's the same belt as you, but you can have different levels of that belt. So you can put a stripe on your belt to determine how close you are to the next, the belt above, or your development. So this guy had 3 stripes on his white belt. I'm fresh 4 or 5 months in, not got a clue what I'm doing, and he's massive. I think he was on gear, but that's another story. And he just charged at me, but it's so. I'm not an aggressive person, and that's something again that I want not aggressive, controlled aggression. That's not me.
Yeah, to use it in the sport.
I'm so, even in training, if I accidentally elbow someone or kick them or whatever, I'm always like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, are you alright? I kind of have to get that, for want of a better phrase, like nasty side in competition, because that's something that I'm not good at naturally.
That's also why you started, though, isn't it?
Self-defense, self-confidence, and just having that belief that, should something bad go wrong in a situation, I've got the confidence in myself to defend myself.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully that's never happened, but if it did, I wanted to be able to do that. And but yeah, this guy just absolutely mullered me, and it
put you off a little bit.
But again, if you've never been in that situation, it's so hard to explain the adrenaline rush you get, because it does feel like
someone's trying to kill you.
Yeah, it does, especially when you'll shake hands at the end and you'll compliment each other on how you've done and stuff like that. But in the moment, it's like this guy had his hands firmly pressed around my neck, choking me out.
Yeah, that's mad.
And there's different levels of panic. And one thing that I go on about jiu-jitsu that's helped me so much is being more present. I've found that with the gym, and I'm sorry I'm rambling on a little bit here, I could talk about jiu-jitsu all day, but just one thing I've always really loved about it is, for me, the gym, I've been doing the gym so long now, I can still be in my own head when I'm in the gym. The gym does not transport me to somewhere else anymore. It used to, it doesn't. So I had to find something else that made me be more present. Something that does that is running, but I didn't want to run all the time, especially post-marathon. I was sick to death of it. So jiu-jitsu was the thing for me, and I can't not be present in jiu-jitsu, because if my mind wanders for a second, if I start thinking about what work I've got to do or where I'm going or this, that and the other, someone's going to put me in a position where I'm either going to get choked out, I could have my arm put in a weird position, I could break my leg, something like that. So
powerful hobbies are as well, and it's having things outside of work that help you to switch off, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
so that's definitely a win.
You've really found that.
That's definitely
so it's a win that you started jiu-jitsu and that you've been going.
Yeah.
A loss that you lost the match, but also like fair play for you going and him being much further along than you.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
And it's
and the first one's always the hardest, right?
Yeah, but again, it's not, as much as I want to win, I've realised that it's not about the wins and losses. It's about the process of what you become. As cliche as that sounds, it's like the process you go through to get to that point.
Yeah. And talking of hobbies, I forgot that I started them this year. So I've realised that I restarted dance and volleyball this year.
You did? Yeah, you did.
So I used to do it when I was younger at high school. Volleyball got quite to a high level
you didn't play for
when I
England,
was
did you?
16. England Central, slightly different at the school. English schools I think was running, but got to quite a high level for my age, and then gave it all up to dance. I only started dancing really when I was 15 and went to dance college. But I've come back to both of them this year, and it's been really weird and hard I love both of them, but it's been really testing me to stay present at the beginning whilst I was learning to pick it up, especially in dance, because you're picking up a routine, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. It's the only sport where you're looking at yourself in the mirror. So it did make me really quite self-conscious. I've got a different body than when I was younger. Obviously, I've mentioned I'm struggling with my bloating and my weight. So it was really quite hard, and I just have to... What it's helped me to do is just keep accepting myself and just aim for progression each week. And we've all got to start somewhere and not compare myself to how I remembered how good I was before. The same with volleyball. I've absolutely been loving playing volleyball, and I've signed up to the women's team and we've been playing.
Secret competitor though, aren't you?
I get really competitive, and I've noticed...
Even in training.
It's
quite funny the amount of times Sophie's come back from training and has just been like, "It wasn't very good tonight. I didn't do this, or I should have done this better in this."
I'm quite harsh on myself, but it's because I have that competitiveness and I want to do well and I know I can do it. But I actually am leaning into, I'm getting better at trying to let some of that go and enjoying it more. Like you have seen a few times when I'm like, oh, I loved that was so fun. But yeah, I am very competitive, believe it or not, so it's bringing all of that back. So I'm trying to have the right balance, but I'd say that's a huge win, and I was really nervous to sign up to the women's team again. But yeah, no regrets.
No, you've done really well with that, haven't you? And going back to the dance though, because you did your rain dance, didn't you?
Yes, did the rain room, which was of my... Yeah, it's a rain dance in the rain room. You literally, we went... Can't remember exactly where it was. We drove, so it was with Empower Dance, where I go to dancing. Highly recommend. It's all about women's empowerment and confidence. And we had the opportunity to go and do a routine in the rain. So it's literally man-made rain coming from
the sky,
or however, and then but it was... I didn't realise how hard it would be, because you're in heels and everything's weighing you down because you're soaking, and then you can't really see, and we're getting it professionally filmed as well. And although, I'm going to be honest, again, this is something that I need to work on. Parts of it I loved, like watching myself, I was like, yes, and then other parts I was like, oh, I could have done that so much better, or oh my gosh, it would have been if I'd just got that timing a little bit more right. So the judgment was still there. However, I posted it on Instagram.
You did?
I did, which I was like, to you, I was like, is it a bit much? Because it's sexy dancing, we're in heels. But yeah, I posted it, which I was proud of. So again, this year has been a lot of pushing out of our comfort zones, hasn't it? And a lot of people think that confidence like you gain the confidence to then do the thing that you want to do.
Got to do the
but
thing
it's completely the opposite. You have to feel the discomfort and do the thing that you're most afraid of, and that gives you the confidence. So if you're waiting for confidence to do the thing that you want to do, it's never going to happen.
You're going to be waiting a long time. Yeah. It's the same with motivation, isn't it? It's the same thing. It's always the action that you have to take first for the confidence to come, or the motivation to come. But yeah, I also think, just touching on that though, I think one thing that I've kind of started to try and tell myself this year as well is it's absolutely okay to want more, and to want to be better and want to improve and want more for your life. But that doesn't equal not having gratitude for where you're currently at. The two things can exist. It's like both things can be true at the same time. You can be grateful for where you are and be happy with your progress and still want more.
And something that I keep using that I learned from you is, I hadn't looked at it this way, is setting goals going into this new year is absolutely a great thing to do. It gives you focus, it gives you energy. But if you're doing it from a place of lack, or from a place of judging yourself or comparing yourself to others in a negative way of, look how much they have and how I don't and how far away I am, that's when it's a negative. But when you set goals that are, you can dream big but then make them realistic, break them down, baby steps. If you know that you're far away from them, don't expect yourself to like quantum leap forwards unless you literally are doing quantum leap energy work and things like that. That's another story. But it's looking at people doing what you want to do, and instead of looking at it from lack, from envy, from negativity, it's wow, amazing they're doing that, and how cool is it that I've actually realised that I want to do that as well. And can I speak to them? Can I talk to that person because they're doing what I want to do? Can I ask them for advice? You know, who is doing what you want to do? A lot of people, most people, want to actually help. And if they don't, again, it shows more about them than it does you. So it's changing and reframing how you think and feel about things. And that's when goals are good, when you're looking at them through that fresh, positive lens.
Absolutely. And I think dream big anyway, you know, because it's, what's that saying? Like, if you
reach for the
moon, you'll fall on the stars.
Oh, I think you got that one from me.
And as even it makes me feel a little bit sick saying it. I think it's true, because you could set the biggest goal and don't worry in the moment. Don't worry too much about the how. Just set the goal and then reverse engineer it. And you might find that if it's a 12-month goal, you might find that 12 months later when you come to reflect, maybe you haven't got it, but chances are if you've been working towards it, you're going to be significantly further ahead and closer to it than you are right now.
And if we're bringing,
that's a win.
And if we're bringing the mindset and NLP into it, you create your reality first in your thoughts. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Obviously there's a lot of action that you need to put into it, but when you visualize what it is that you want, that's so powerful, and there's so much science behind it, because now your brain has stored that, and it doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So it actually thinks, oh, that's a memory, so it expects it to happen again. So visualization is so powerful. And when you are choosing your goals, the biggest advice I can give you is make sure they're coming from the heart. Make sure that when you get this goal, imagine and visualize how would you feel and what would change and happen once you've got that goal, because that is what is going to be the driver, and is law of attraction as well as science. It's going to attract that energy of that, because if you're just wanting something because someone else has it, or you think that's what you should have, you're less likely to get it. But if you do get it, you're not actually going to be happy.
No. And also I think on that judgment as well, don't worry about what other people will think of your goal. Your goal is your goal. And keep it to what feels right for you and what you want to do, because at the end of the day it is your life. You're the one who has control over the direction you're going in and what it is that you want, and don't let anyone else's perceptions or judgments affect what it is that you say is your goal.
People are always going to judge you no matter what. Like,
people
coming back
put you
to
down
the start,
and,
people are going to judge us for being vulnerable, for being open, but the right people will be attracted to you and get what it is that they need from this from you.
There's a saying that I love that I heard ages ago, and it's like, you don't get put down from people who are ahead of you in life. And it's because if people who are putting you down for a reason, most likely is to make themselves feel better. And it's just like we said at the start, don't lift that big rock if you don't need to. Don't look at those people's comments or their perceptions, and just stay focused on what it is that you want.
And lastly, to add to that, a huge thing that I always remember is looking at what you define success as. Because what is success to another person, to your friend, a family member, is completely different to what you think success is. And rather than being generic about money, success, it's going deeper than that. Doing something that you love, having a job that you love. Obviously there's going to be elements that you don't always, that's life, but getting up and actually being excited for each day, it's what is success to you. And the more that you can reflect on that before you set those goals into the new year, that's where you're going to know where to focus your energy. And that's why it's not asking other people, what do you think my goals should be? Because their measurement of success is completely different to yours. Our success is unique to us, and that's why also our goals are unique to us. No one else can set the goals or their measurements of success for you. It can only be done by you.
Nice. I like that. I think that's a good way to end as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening to our little rambles about our wins, losses, and how to set goals
and
for
if you,
2026.
Yeah, and if you want to read more about our wins and losses, we've both done Instagram posts, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
So you can have a look on there at more of those. But thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a lovely New Year's Eve, whatever you end up doing. We're just going to go to the cinema and food, and then we'll probably be in bed by 10.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And have a good New Year. See you on the other side.
See you.